And I'm Jacques Joy. Mhm. Yep. And I guess I just added some minor changes to the demo level. And want me to start off with that? All right. Okay, so you may be wondering what these giant cylindrical things are. Believe it or not, this is how we're handling our volumetric light. Uh, Let me just hit play so we can see what it looks like. And yeah, so as you can see that there's now these like yellow beams of light coming in from the top. Oh, and it kind of what it does is it gives me a lot of control over the kind of color and the mood and the setting we want to have. And it also kind of makes it a little bit more visually interesting because it would be pretty much very one note if it weren't for the like because it's all pretty much like many of the same repeating materials and whatnot. So having like kind of that orange come in here, the orange come in there, the blues back there, it kind of lets me play around with like the sort of the it's the storytelling of the entire thing and kind of give it a lot more just visual interest. So now we're on the bridge, so we have these like colder, cool teal sort of areas. We've got like a kind of like a more green area here. Well, it's a stealth through this. Oh, oh, he saw me. Die. Yeah, and I added some fog to the water, but realizing fog doesn't quite work as well as these light shafts do. And yeah, got the blue over here, and it's kind of nice. And later on, I'll be able to kind of use these volumetric lights to kind of tell a bit of a story, kind of like a story through the colors. And yeah, kind of nice little addition. And the other thing was, I guess, kind of going running back here was I added a normal map to these leaves. So now these things have like a proper they're shaded a little more correctly than the compared to the other plants. Yeah. Yeah. We also had the waggle in here that we added. So before it was kind of like this little lumbering boom boom boom, but now it just kind of yeah, now it quickly rummages. And yeah, that's it. Mhm. Yeah. And that's it for this week for me. Mhm. 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 Nice. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. Very, very awesome. Paolo just said, that ain't Ultima Online. And he also said that he can't hear you. I can hear you, yeah. Oh, weird. Oh,
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so that should be working now. Yeah. That's weird. Because, like, OBS just didn't pick up my Yeti mic. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had to switch. Let's go. Which view? There we go.
there we go.
Yeah. All right.
Yay. All right. So, well, it's funny that
Okay.
you're here, Paolo, because we actually we were wondering about something because we're actually going to be going into our early access pretty soon, and actually, just wondering, Paolo, not to put you on the spot, but you actually want to join us in this chat? I'll see if he's here. Yeah, that's me. Sec. I'll see if he wants to join us here.
I guess if I was muted, I could just do a quick recap. I did some stuff with the UI that you can see, like switching between like the controller input to the...
What?
There we go. Controller input and keyboard input. So it switches depending on which one you're using. And then, yeah, lit the controllers so that they're always lit the same way. And then did some other replication stuff, which I won't show here because I need two versions of the edit, or two versions of the game running. But basically, replicating different things.
Paolo's here.
There we
Oh,
go.
cool.
Well,
Hey.
hi.
Nice for you to join us.
Well, thanks for the invite. I'm technically still on work hours, but I won't tell if you won't.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah, we were actually just mulling over something. It actually might be interesting to get your feedback on stuff.
I'll do my best.
Okay, so in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be going early access.
Very cool.
Yeah. So the early access for this is like our demo level that you're seeing here is just pretty much going to be a quick tutorial on how the controls work and how the game kind of plays, and then it's going to go straight into our dungeon builder, like our.
It goes into a procedural dungeon. The demo does not include the dungeon builder.
Oh, sorry. We're going to
you just play a procedural dungeon.
That's very interesting. So are those little health bars at the base of each of the enemies?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't do a UI pass on the characters yet.
Still,
on the UI yet.
Very interesting. I like that.
It's very old school, like 8-bit era, like the double
bit
era.
Yeah, it might be a bit less than they all clustered together, but so far it looks pretty good.
I think you can we can shut it off too, right?
Yeah. If you press the back button, it turns off. I call it like verbose mode. So like that hides most of the UI, and then if you press it again, then like you can see the name of the combo I just did pop up. You can see the name of the enemies. You can see how much the damage numbers for everything you do, and then if you press the back button, it hides all that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And this is the water level that everything moves at half speed.
The water room. It's not an entire level.
Water room. Sorry.
It looks great, guys.
Really Thanks.
Good. Lighting's looking good too.
Oh, hey, in the shop.
Oh, the shop.
So I can buy some food. Let's see.
I have
delicious full chicken. Does extra melee damage?
Pop-Tart?
Pop-Tart. Put
Perhaps
that in
some
the
Got.
sacred Oreos.
Ooh, honey. Honey gives me extra move speed. I'm totally get. Oh, I don't have enough money for the honey.
Oh no!
I guess I gotta get
Drink from
1,000.
the chalice of Mountain Dew.
So ever since day one of I've known Palo since what 2007.
Yeah, I think that's right. 2006, 2007. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been wanting him to play Zelda ever since.
I've heard it's a good game.
In fact, I think I traded you my Wind Waker for Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. I think we
And I
each
still
respectively
have
have
it,
the
Alan Wake.
copy.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll play it. It'll be cool.
Yeah, Wind Waker's
I,
good.
thanks for outing me. I'm glad you don't have a lot of viewers right now.
Yeah.
I do believe you can get your game design card
All right,
revoked
sweet.
if you admit that out loud.
Oh, really? No. Not the kind of game you make.
or kicked out of the United States. Most
Oh,
certainly
boy.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Japan, yeah, but
Yeah,
I think you're
yeah.
okay in the US.
I suppose so. I'd be all right. I think Call of Duty's your cred here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is
Alright.
like the cool thing about these Zelda games is they have these very elaborate puzzle solving kind of dungeons where you have like a bunch of these like mechanics.
Yeah.
Where you know, push blocks, switches. We have to move the push block onto a switch, but then
Yep.
they'll be blocked by other things, and so it's sometimes these very elaborate puzzles where you kind of have to like probably like 10-step puzzles at least, right, to try and solve, and using multiple tools to get there. And that's kind of the big part of the game was they gate a lot of these abilities. So like when you get the next ability, which will be like, oh, I can break walls, right? Now you have
Yeah.
this other thing where it's like you have to solve a puzzle with this new added like layer. But the thing is, they don't give you everything all at once. They give you them step at a time so that you kind of master one, and
Yep,
then
that
the
makes
next
sense.
one, you master one, and the next one. So that's kind of the gist of what we're giving to the players here. Is we're going to give them the ability to.
Did your character just fall off the world there?
Yeah, there's a bit of
Ah.
a bug. The ledge should usually stop me. I have this because I ate the honey, which gives
Yeah.
me really fast movement speed. So I'm not sure.
just
Like it should have
slip right
stopped
off.
me, but yeah. Should have
Might have
stopped me.
been-
That's a bug though.
can't
It's a bug. I'm not sure what caused it, but I'll have to figure it out. and
Do you have
fix
the
it.
ability to freeze enemies? At
To
some point?
freeze enemies?
Yeah, like
you
freeze
have a
attack?
time. You have a time stop ability, but I have not
Oh, okay,
unlocked
time
it yet.
stop. And that will freeze the enemies?
Basically, it sets them to like a tiny percent like movement speed, and you move a bit faster.
Do you have
And
a
then-
puzzle element where you can slow them or freeze them so that you require to get them on a on a plate or something like that's the trigger?
Oh, we don't have anything like that. Usually, we keep the enemies and the puzzles fairly separate.
Yeah.
So like we do have puzzle stuff related to the time stop, like where
Like putting a crate on a pan.
well, like these water things where like if when you freeze time, that water becomes
neat.
solid. So
look at
like
that.
what you can do actually, what the hell? I'll unlock time stop, and then basically if I go
I'm sure you're not revealing
let's see if I
anything
can do
to too many people right now. You're safe.
yeah, no, well we've got over this before, I like that.
That's a bit
Oh, no.
like the Sands of Time did that as well in
Yeah,
an
yeah.
interesting way. I fell in love with that game for that reason alone.
There we go.
Clever way of using. Oh, look at this! You can.
So
ride
now
a
it lifts me up, and then
bubble.
I didn't jump off in time.
But if you had, you could get to normally inaccessible areas.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, neat! I love that.
There's one of these other puzzles.
Look at that. Oh,
So you
that's
could actually-
cool.
Oh,
Oh man, I can't wait to hype you guys
Let's do-
up. This is looking good.
We're actually going early access in probably what was it, month and a half?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you know what?
And did you?
keep me in the loop? Reach out to me. Well, you can, Jeff,
Yeah,
you can reach
sure.
out to me either through Messenger, Instagram, whatever, and I'll be happy to share any kind of promo stuff you want through my.
Nice.
Sure.
Nice.
So now,
Yeah, it's-
all this, how many people are on your project?
You're looking at us.
That's just you
Pretty
two
much.
who did this. Good grief.
but yeah. We have a couple of friends helping us out, like kind of whoa, why can't I pick that up?
Is it on the second level? You have to roll into it?
Maybe. There we go. Got it.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Oh, that's
Alright.
clever. The way that kind of moved into the, it broke the fourth wall a bit.
Yeah, whenever you pick stuff up, it kind of, because there's 4 HUD slots across the top of the
Yeah.
screen, and it'll just kind of blend over to whichever guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I need to
So the
switch that
point
back.
of this puzzle is you have to light those fire pyres, I guess.
Hmm.
And there's one switch here in this level that switches the black blocks to the white blocks.
Okay.
And so that's going to be just laid out wherever in the entire dungeon. And so you have to figure that out, and then it changes the switch. So now you have this white block in the middle of that ramp at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, which way is it? Nope, nope.
Is that a 20-sider die that you're trying to roll?
Yeah,
I hope you get a crit. Good luck.
that's great. Here we go.
Call shot.
Boom.
That's the first one.
There it is.
First one. And so the order you have to do them is up here at the corner.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh shit! They are die. they're
Mhm.
dice. I
Yep.
like it. I was just being facetious, but turns out I was subconsciously being observant.
Yeah, I actually did make, because we were playing around with a lot of ideas, so I made a version of it's basically the same thing as that ball, but it's one of these 6-sided die, and you can roll it, and it outputs a number.
Yeah.
Because we have a puzzle builder, and I was like, oh, you could, but how would you use that in a puzzle?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
you gotta get
Right.
6, and then, I don't know. There we go.
We'll let the users figure that out.
Right. Fair
What they
enough.
want to use it for, yeah.
And there we go. Dungeon done. Then you teleport out and credits roll.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we actually found out that there was another game that had the exact same logo.
Is this
As
going
our
to be the
company.
shortest credit roll of all time?
It's
We
gonna
actually
be
got some
our
more people here. You know,
yeah, it's a
Eli?
decent amount of people. Our
do.
special thanks is almost as long as the rest of the credits.
Winder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Early days, super early days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing. So we're gonna be able to go live with this pretty soon, and
Okay.
yeah, hopefully it'll be a fun little thing people can play,
Yep.
and keep replaying. I guess
Yeah.
we keep the
So we'll basically, because throughout the game you run into these procedural dungeons all the time, and if you've already looted the treasure at the end, like this little circle here will be blacked out. But just for our demo, you can go over here and you can reset it. So if I press X, it resets it, and then I can go down. It'll be a new procedural dungeon, and there'll be a new treasure at the end.
Wow.
So for the
Okay.
demo, you can just play through this as much as you want
That's good fun.
for the free demo, and then
So for a free demo, people are getting a procedurally generated little dungeon, and it's kind of like everybody's the water cooler story is going to be a little bit different each time.
yeah.
Why?
And for the early access, we can go, and that's when you'll get the dungeon builder
Yeah.
and the dungeon browser. Oh, it just crashed.
oh no.
But yeah, so players will be able to build their own dungeons, own puzzles and dungeons, and then upload those and be able to
What
share
did you
them.
make this with? What was? How did you?
This is Unreal.
Unreal. Okay. Oh yeah, there it is.
Just
right
as it says Unreal.
there. Yeah. What was? How did you do this? Welcome to Unreal.
Gonna match wizards.
Yeah. Oh, we got the videos at the beginning working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Awesome, guys.
I just realized, Paolo, you've never used Unreal, have you?
Shh. Why do you have to out everything
no.
about all the bad stuff?
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm amazed.
Never
at the-
played Zelda. Hasn't done anything
stupid.
Unreal.
But you've worked. Now, just wait a second. You worked on
Bjorn, by the way, he's also a virgin.
No, wait a second. You worked on Splinter Cell. That's Unreal, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. there we
yeah,
go. Sorry.
that was Unreal.
When we were doing that, it was already 7 years old. That particular version.
Were you working in the lead version or lead or whatever it was?
You know what? I have no idea. I can't even remember. But I do remember the funniest story about that was one of our senior engineers at the time. He was a very easygoing guy, And that particular day, I heard him getting really frustrated. And he's like, who writes code like this? He's going over some really old code. And then he realizes, he starts laughing. I said, what's going on? He said, it's mine from when I was an intern. He'd been working on the franchise long enough that he'd just thrown some code in there that obviously his more senior self didn't approve of.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
The changeless went back that far.
Oh yeah, that's how much crap was in there. Yep.
So this is our dungeon builder.
Yeah. We
Puzzle
have
builder, I
like
would say.
yeah, well yeah, so there's it's broken up into two parts. There's a puzzle builder and a dungeon builder. So you can build individual puzzle rooms, and then you put them into a dungeon, into a larger dungeon.
Oh neat.
Let's see. I'll do a few things here.
By the way, all of these items are placeholder for now, and I do plan on revisiting them. As you can tell, they're just kind of like blocky with jagged edges, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And placeholder. So I'm gonna revisit all this stuff, but it's not a priority. Like, I mean, given the early access state, I think people will be forgiving of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just put a few things down. So, like, you can link objects together. So I linked that switch to that little fire breather thing.
Yeah.
And this switch is too big to actually for me to stand on, so I have to push block on it. Then that turns on the fire breather thing, and that sets these wooden things on fire, and they'll burn and get destroyed. And then I have these little warp points I can go into and teleport.
Of you moving blocks, is it exclusively through attack, or are you going to have a push animation or push pull?
Oh, it's specific. It's through a specific attack, and that's an interesting point actually. So you don't. Yeah. This is one of the abilities you get throughout the course of the game. Players getting early access won't actually have access to this ability.
Right.
But if I go back to the builder, there's this hammer that you can put down.
Yeah.
Players can put down, and then if they link that to a switch. So now when I step on that switch, it'll activate the hammer, and that'll push the block.
No way. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
How robust is the dungeon builder? Seems like you have a lot of tools.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's tons.
Wow.
Like we just added in like all of this food recently, so there's all these like potato, just potato. We bought like a low poly food asset thing off the marketplace, and I was just like randomly filling in whatever I could because there's like different buffs.
I mean, it looks like a potato to me.
Yeah. Well, let's put it in, see what it does. All right. See, so this open. Oh, it's opening backwards. I gotta fix that.
Low poly
Found
potato.
some delicious bonus stamina. Wow. This gives me a lot of extra stamina. Or was that? There we go. That'll open the right way.
So how will you be releasing your demo?
It'll be over Steam, so there'll be the free demo, and then there'll be the early access version, all out at the same time. We want to do the thing where it's like, I mean, we don't have an official trailer. We're doing these streams and everything, but it'll be like with our trailer, you know, the call to action where it's instead of like and subscribe, it'll just be like available now on Steam. Go try the demo. We want that for our announcement trailer. But we will be throwing together a quick teaser trailer because to get on the Steam store, you have to be, your page has to be visible for at least 2 weeks and saying coming soon. So, and we need a trail, and part of the checklist is you need a trailer. We'll do a short teaser trailer, and then have that up for 2 weeks and not advertise it or anything.
Just to fill the criteria.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we'll get our actual announced trailer.
Yeah. Oh, something else you could do is you could attach anything to these push blocks.
Yeah.
So you could have like a chest on top of the push block, and then it gets pushed around with it.
Well, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend that made a few test dungeons where it's basically he had a series of those hammers activated by switches and a chest on top. And it's just basically like it never stopped. So like it would get hit over to another switch, hooked up to a hammer, so it would get hit, and it was just constantly getting knocked around
players are
the
gonna have
room.
some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with these warps. Because there's so if you see in the on the right side of the screen it says like group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have like 5 different pairs of warps or sets of warps. And these don't have to be in the same room, so you can teleport across the dungeon to
Oh,
different
that's
rooms
cool.
and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Yeah. So if I go over here to the dungeon builder, well, this is just like something I had thrown together with a bunch of puzzles, things like that. But so I'll get rid of a few of these. But on any room, you can customize it. You can add a key. So like when you defeat all the enemies in this room, it'll spawn a key.
Right.
And you can lock a room. So if a room is locked, when you drop it down, it'll lock all the entrances. And entrances automatically get generated between any 2 rooms that are adjacent.
Okay.
So
And you get, I imagine you get feedback when you attempt to enter one and it requires a key.
yeah, there's a locked door and there's a big symbol that shows up and
got it.
the key counter flashes.
Right.
And then you have
the portcullis there that I made a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago.
oh yeah, and you can place this is like the merchant. Ooh, that should be on top actually. But yeah, that's the merchant or whatever. And then you can put so the keys, the lock, the warp, the block switch. So that's the thing. You have all the black blocks and white blocks, and they'll go up and down. And this controls them across the dungeon, so you can have multiple ones in the dungeon to try and get each puzzle in the proper state. And then warp, just a bunch of different warps. So you can place a warp in any room, and like you can place it in a combat room, but it doesn't work while combat is active.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I was going to ask, how long has this taken you to get to this point?
In development?
Well,
Yeah.
I left IDOS 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
And I left EA. When did I leave? I think it was 3 years ago now.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Got to do freelance for I'd say most of that time though. So
Yeah. Yeah. So this has been for both of you sort of part-time.
yeah.
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 Because I've also been doing contracts like
Mhm.
I don't know, probably about a third of the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Jacques, this question's not for you because I know your answer, but Bjorn, is that something that you feel like this transition from going from a place like EA to doing contract work and working on your own thing, is that something you feel is like the rest of your career? Is that something you're doing for the time being?
Definitely.
Has it been rewarding enough that you'd like to continue to pursue this?
I think I don't think I'd want it to be the rest of my career. I think like I'm hoping with this because with this being entirely self-funded, we don't have any debts to pay back. We don't have a publisher that's taking a cut or anything like that. So hopefully with what we make with this, we'll be completely self-sustained. And I definitely I don't mind helping out friends. Like that's most of the contracts I do are for friends that are like, hey, I'm working on this game and I could use some help. So I don't mind helping out friends from time to time, but
Very nice.
there are a lot of times while I'm on contract and all I want to do is be working on this game.
Oh, that's good.
And it's kind of it's kind of a bit painful where I'm like, oh god, I have an idea for like the warp or some new feature that I came up with and I'm like, oh, I want to work on that, but I can't today because I'm doing the contract.
Here's my follow-up question: is did you ever have that feeling on commercial projects that you worked on?
What do you mean? Like, did I
that feeling like I just want to, you get up and you're like, I just want to work on the thing that I'm working on today. Like, were there projects at EA where you felt that way?
I don't think so. I think EA was late enough in my career that I was very emotionally detached from my work. And that's sort of intentional because you know what it's like when you get feedback that's like, you know, your work's not the greatest as a designer. It's like and that's how I dealt with a lot of feedback is I just kind of, and you know, iterating on things and trying to make the best levels I can is basically sort of emotionally detaching myself from it and just iterate on it. And like any criticism somebody has of it, it's like, okay, yeah, don't take it to heart. Just like act on it, figure out a solution for it and stuff like that.
That's almost an art form unto itself.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like because I worked at
Yeah,
Ubisoft. There were probably a few games like that, like a couple of the Assassin's Creed games I worked on. I was really excited to work on them. I had trouble leaving the office.
Yeah.
Yep. I could say the same.
It's always like when you're given something really cool to work on and a lot of ownership over it. But the second
Yeah, for sure.
the thing is once I find in a lot of those bigger productions, like the ownership quickly gets taken from you, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're sort of
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just go through it. It's not really mine anymore, and that's when you really kind of dig deep, a bit deeper. Whereas for something like this, it's sort of like, I don't have enough time to do everything I want. I want to do all of it all the time. Like just like it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
uh,
right. It's funny how that is certainly among the
mhm,
colleagues and developers I've known over the years. That seems to be common knowledge. Is that
yeah,
for most of us, the agency,
yeah,
Hmm.
and then it feels like typically the minute we check out is when that's taken from us, and it feels like companies still haven't figured that out, and it feels like a common known
mhm.
truth. It's very odd that
Mm.
that's so
Yeah.
hard to
Well, is it?
educate.
Is it? Well, it's like, is it one driving the other? Because the way you phrased that, it sounded like we check out and then it's taken away from us.
No,
But
I mean like it's taken
the
from you and you
opposite.
check out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
or it
it's like
wasn't provided to you at all. And you
yeah,
because some
Yeah.
projects are like that. Some of them you get onto and it's made very clear that like we just need to
Hmm.
get this out the door, or the
Oh
people
yeah.
who are part of the core dev team does
yeah,
not involve you and we need your help,
Hmm.
but you're not part of that sort of
yeah,
clique, whatever it might be. And
Yeah.
so, and look, it's to be fair, it's not always going to be a project where you have a lot of agency, and that's fine. I just kind of meant, career
Yeah.
wise, especially for those of us who've done that tour of duty or two,
yeah,
Hmm.
that typically it seems to be that if you have someone of a certain level of skill and ability,
Hmm.
and
yeah.
you're not offering them some sense of agency over where that project goes, I don't know what you expect to get from them.
Mhm.
We're not at a stage in our careers where we're interested in just doing the
Hmm.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I think that's something I tended to do a lot as well, is sort of read the room in terms of like what
Mm-hmm.
the directors want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, how much of this is my vision and how much of it is actually theirs? And
Yeah.
Mhm.
striking that balance and figuring out, it's like, okay, no, they know what they want for this. I'll do
I'm
what they
still
want to the
terrible at
letter.
that, Bjorn. I'm
And
Yeah.
so
then
bad at that.
yeah.
I just don't give a shit. I kind of come in and I'm like, I know what I would do, and this isn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I
Well,
find that's really interesting about that is when I worked in the States, I remember like people were very just like brutally honest about their
Mm-hmm.
opinions, right or wrong,
hmm,
right? When I
Yep.
moved to
Yep.
Montreal, people were very guarded, well, not guarded, they were kind of careful about kind of the tone about things. Whereas I'm just, for some reason, when I moved to Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
I just came in with the guns ablazing. It should be done like this, like this. We
Yeah.
got some proof of this, like, and I've had to over time tone that down. But
I
if
still haven't
I just
figured that one out.
yeah, I know, but like, oh my God, just I remember when it came down, it's like, dude, you can't say that. Like, why not? The proof is right here. Like, it's just like it's,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
think
God
I
knows I've paid the price for my opinions.
yeah,
That's for sure.
but I find that because the like this is why I think that you're doing pretty well for yourself in LA is because I think people in like culturally they seem to appreciate that kind of blunt honesty a lot more, or that's more of like an American type
Uh, I mean,
personality trait. But
you're not wrong, but you're not
yeah,
completely right. I mean, at least not in
well,
my experience so far.
yeah,
I think I finally found a space where, to your to credit to the
yeah,
point you're making, I certainly haven't found a space where my opinions or my particular way of going about things is more appreciated.
yeah,
But yeah, like my boss recently just told me, and we were laughing about it. I have a good relationship with him, but he was saying, yeah, people do sometimes feel uncomfortable with your
mhm,
feedback, and that's because much like what you were saying you used to do, I still do. I mean, I
mhm,
still will say, someone says, well, what do you think of this, and I'll express what I think.
mhm,
Um, but I also recognize, like, we've taken something called disc training, which is kind of assessing your style of your work style and how to
yeah,
better work with other people of different styles. And
yeah.
it's given me some insight. The big
Mhm.
joke is that my particular style is D. Its class is D, and basically it's kind of like the A type person. Like, I have a desire to get things moving. I don't want to overanalyze. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
And not everyone works well that way. Some people are a little more analytical and like to take their time. And so the joke is I'm the big D, which means big.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
cool.
I hear you, and I have a great deal of admiration for what you guys have managed to do, certainly in such a short
Mm,
amount of time. You have a lot to be proud of. I'm really eager to see this
thanks.
demo. I'm
Yeah,
happy to hype
thanks.
it up for you.
Yeah.
yeah, thanks.
But on that note, I do have to finish up my day. Thanks for inviting me in.
Oh, thanks for
Thanks so
coming.
much for dropping by.
Yeah, it was good fun. I'm really excited to see where
Yeah.
this goes.
Yeah. I want to see some
See
levels.
if I can get this working.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Good
Right,
luck.
there we go.
I'll
Yeah.
speak to you soon.
For sure. Have a good night, man.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That's so nice of you to drop by.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I guess I need that to be on the ground for it to work properly.
Mm.
Try that. Okay.
People make these massive root gold brick contraptions. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. That's a note we got. Is like we kind of need to show off the kind of crazy contraptions you can make.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
yeah. Yeah, which yeah, that'll just take a bit of time, but
Yeah.
flattened.
Are those boulders in the demo as well?
I don't think
Okay.
they. Well, they might be because if they show up in the procedural dungeon, like you might get a puzzle with them.
Okay. I mean, sorry. Are they in the dungeon builder?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this I use this making the dungeon builder
Oh,
or the
okay.
puzzle builder. So
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So I do have to come up with my little chicken model eventually at some point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I think I added it to the list of tasks.
yeah. I'll redo all of these things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do probably want to do a placeholder of it first, just to kind of get a feel for what it should look and animate like, and the boulder as well. And then yeah, get a placeholder pass on all of them first, and then move ahead and.
Isn't that what you already have?
Well, that I never made that. You took that from somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
That's like
you
a.
made that.
It's yeah.
I think you made that.
No, I didn't make it. I just took it from. I think it's like a smelter thing.
Oh, okay.
That-
think
From
I
like,
probably
and I just threw the chrome material on it.
Yeah, that works. Reads
Yeah.
well. And in fact, it kind of reads well enough where I kind of actually want to go back and
Mhm.
things like the push block. I want to kind of make it that same sort of chrome as well, and even
Okay.
the bounce post. I kind of want to have kind of want to keep that same sort of things. Like, oh, you see that material, that chrome material. That's
Mhm.
your active object. And it glows, right? So we'll have the
Mhm.
glowing Fresnel on parts of it then.
Okay. Cool.
All stuff I probably should have done on the first pass, rather
Yeah.
than just go straight into what I thought would be the final pass.
Mm.
That's okay. We added more.
Yeah.
We iterated. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's early access. It's placeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be forgiven. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Well, we do updates, and it'll be easy enough to
Yeah.
push updates because, like, basically, we're not branching for early access. So
Yeah.
any work we do on the main game,
Yeah.
whenever we want to do a build, we can just do a build for the demo and for early access, and then
Yeah.
push that to Steam, and everybody will just get
Oh, I
all
need
of
to
your new
light
meshes,
this.
all of my bug fixes.
I need to light this area too.
Yep, you'll
Just
need to
be
do both. There's the dungeon builder and the dungeon browser, two separate maps, and and you still have to do the character select one. Yeah,
Right.
we'll add.
Yeah.
We should add tasks for those in Jira. Yeah, that's the other thing we started doing. We started actually using Jira to track the stuff we need to do. No, Jacques did.
rather
I'm
than
mostly
a
just
bunch of
playing it,
lists.
and then I have a spreadsheet that's just like I fix tasks, I fix bugs as I find them.
Yeah. I was just writing down things that bothered me visually and go back.
Well,
and-
because we had on Google Drive, we had like 5 different
Yeah.
Word documents in
Yeah.
5 different folders spread all across Google Drive, and it's like, oh, these are all covering all the things that Jock had to do, and some things were in there twice because we needed them for 2 different things, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, this isn't the best way of tracking stuff.
Yeah.
And we have
but
Jira.
in fairness, though, a lot of it was just kind of like the dungeon. Okay, let's just do the entire dungeon start to finish rather than like. And so I
Yeah.
was just kind of like doing all the dungeon stuff, and then like, okay, well, let's just move on to the demo stuff. I was just doing all the demo stuff, and like, And then it's like, oh, let's move on to the city hub. I'll just focus on the city hub stuff, and then so like I could, it just kind of became like a step like that where I just kind of visit area per area rather than list all the things. Because like I think what happened, at least even with the dungeons, was I was going through them, I was realizing I was missing a bunch of stuff, or I wasn't doing things properly, or things could have been done better. And it's like once I started doing the first pass, it's like, okay, well, yeah, it needs a few other things, and probably don't need these other things. So that was kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, I wonder if I should take a look at the material we're using for that, because I think it's blowing out too much, and you can't. It's illegible how much damage you're doing for like the bulk of it until it's just about faded away. You can't really actually tell what it says.
Is that my bloom setting or?
Probably, but it's if this is what we're happy with, then it's what we'll update the material. It shouldn't be too difficult.
No, probably not. Just put a multiplier on it, or even.
We'll probably end up clamping it.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's driven by something.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, but yeah, I'll take a look and see.
Cool.
Maybe something I can fix. Yeah, other than that, like I'll probably be mostly just looking at multiplayer stuff. So like, just making sure things replicate properly. There's some weird stuff where like you're missing some of the projectiles you're supposed to be throwing and things like that.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I'll be up to.
Cool. All right. And yeah, I guess that answered it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Should we call it a stream? We're pretty much out of talking points.
Yeah, I think so. We didn't have a lot of talking points this week, so yeah, we'll just call it a stream. Good night, everybody.
Good night.